Witness testimony continued today in the trial of Jimmy Rodgers. He's one of the men accused of killing Dr. Teresa Sievers. 4 in your corner has been in the courtroom since the beginning of this trial. Anchor Jane Monreal live at the Lee County Courthouse with the latest developments. Jane?
Patrick, we're in the 3rd week right now of the Jimmy Rodgers trial for the murder of Dr. Teresa Sievers. A lot happened. They abruptly ended court yesterday when 2 FBI analysts were to take the stand. So they took the stand this morning. And the other exciting thing was there were some mistrial motions, calls for mistrials. Let's bring in Sandra Rodriguez, who was there when all of this happened. So what happened with that first call for a mistrial by Jimmy Rodgers' team?
Well, the first mistrial was called when the witness, Lieutenant David Levitt, was on the stand talking about what happened during that initial visit to Rodgers' home in Missouri, which he said that when Rodgers arrived, because Rodgers was not home when they got there, he appeared a bit frantic when he saw detectives there. And but he followed to say that he was willingly talking to them, but when they asked him to be recorded or sworn on tape, he denied them. So when Lieutenant Levitt said this in front of the jury members, the defense quickly objected, said no, and then they privately discussed, and then they filed for a mistrial, saying that this statement went against Rodgers'
Miranda rights.
Yes.
Okay, and then, but then the state said that that was fine.
They said that it was fine because Rodgers waived those rights when he willingly talked to the detectives.
All right.
But and then this is what the defense had to say.
Judge, based on that statement from Lieutenant Levitt, he has not testified in this trial. That's being offered as substantive evidence, and we are asking we're moving for a mistrial in this case.
So the 2 FBI analysts took the stand today talking again about these blue coveralls found on the side of the road in Missouri. And what else was significant then about connecting Rodgers to the case and this blue suit and hair?
Well, the first FBI analyst talked about the fibers that they collected from this blue suit, and the second one talked about some hair that was collected from that blue suit that was collected from the side of the road. Now, they did mitochondrial DNA testing on this suit, and they found that it was consistent with hair, were DNA swaps from Rodgers. Now, they can't call it an exact match because they did mitochondrial DNA testing, and they're saying that anybody in Rodgers' maternal line would match with this DNA. The sequence would match.
Okay, but they didn't. Did they say, were there any other family members in Missouri then?
They did not say that. They just said that they could not exclude him from this hair belonging to him, but they couldn't say it's like an exact match either, that it just was specific to him.
All right, so let's hear about that soundbite.
Results were that the sequence obtained from the item 32-1 hair and from Rodgers were the same in the range obtained that was consistent between both of them, and that it was a cannot exclude, meaning that that Rodgers could not have been excluded as the source of the item 32-1 hair.
All right, so I want to bring in now our Court TV correspondent and reporter from Julia Janae from Court TV, I should say. So why do you think then the focus is on this blue suit, and what makes it a strong piece of evidence, Julia?
Well, physical evidence is always really important. These jurors are going to want to see what is actually linking Jimmy Ray Rodgers to this crime scene, not just the narrative that the state has, but what is actually physical. So these fibers, that's one of the major things that the state has, showing that Jimmy Ray Rodgers wearing those coveralls from his job. It's both at the scene where Teresa Sievers, her dress, they found those fibers there. They found them in Curtis Wainwright's car, and then also on the actual coveralls that his girlfriend said that they threw on the side of the road. So it's key because it's physical evidence that's linking him to the scene.
All right, there were calls for mistrials today. Sandra talked about the first one, discussing Miranda rights and that Rodgers talked freely when they first visited him at his first place. The second time had something to do with media being mentioned, and that the talk of Jimmy Rodgers being on probation was already mentioned in the media.
Right, that went to the second interview, and that lieutenant traveled to Missouri and talked to him while he was in jail. Now, the defense did not want this jury to know that he was already in jail. They said it was prejudicial for them knowing that he was incarcerated at that time for something that's irrelevant to this case. But they also didn't want the statement that he made to those officers when they arrived. He said, "What am I here for? What are you here for?" And they told him, "We're here to charge you with second-degree murder." His response, according to those officers, was that it's 15 to 20 years in Missouri for second-degree murder. I'm okay with that, and he walked away. That was something this defense team did not want these jurors to know about. They filed a motion to suppress that statement, but the judge before let it in, and today he also let them talk about the fact that Rodgers was in jail. He said that's already been out in the media, and in this situation, there's really no way around it.
All right, let's throw to the part where he talks about being visited in the in that second state in the facility, and about 15 to 20 years, and he just kind of cocked an attitude.
Well, that's the way the officer characterized it, that he didn't want to talk, and that's the statement that he made.
All right, Julia Janae from Court TV. Of course, this trial is just continuing. We're just about at that halfway point in the estimated 5-week trial for the murder of Dr. Teresa Sievers, trying right now the defendant Jimmy Rodgers. This trial could take at least a couple more weeks, so you can keep up with the trial on the Fox 4 News app, as well as the website, fox4now.com. In the meantime, we're going to talk to our legal professor, our expert, Pamela C. She is from FGCU. She'll be coming up at 6:30, more on the evidence and the call for these mistrials. In the meantime, live in downtown Fort Myers, Jane Monreal, Fox 4 in your corner.